Hello. There's a lot of talking about shame. I wanted to know what shame is. Well, I can't even explain that, because shame in our world is normally when I'm embarrassed about someone, about the emergence of my qualities, which people think of as improper. If I stole, if I did something indecent. There are all kinds, but it depends on social conventions, on what society agrees to. You see, today, it's almost common that people steal. From the Prime Minister to John Doe. People don't care, don't mind saying, I don't want to go to the army, I don't want to work. Others are saying, everyone's like that, so I don't care about anything too, etc. So it depends on social conventions. In other words, what we're embarrassed about. But when we come to know the spiritual laws, the laws of nature, the absolute laws of nature, that's the way it is and that's it, there's no way you can go. Like gravity, you take a glass and drop it, it falls as it should fall, and in no other way. So the same rules exist with respect to shame, everything that's forbidden, everything we should do, with respect to respecting parents and love their friends as yourself in general, etc. So it turns out that when we discover the common law as a natural law, then we see that we don't identify with them. We are colliding with them. It's called haka'ah, striking. In other words, they're striking us, and that's where all of our troubles come from. And the more our egos increase, the more we're on a collision course with these laws. Yes, the laws of ethics. So we feel worse. Diseases, natural disasters, depression, ADHD, divorce, suicide rates, whatnot. So we have to stop and think that on the one hand, we have to discover these laws. And then we will be ashamed. We'll end up in the real shame. And then we'll know exactly what we need to shame in order to not inflict upon us these hard forces and hardships that constantly make our lives more and more bitter. So shame is really a great thing. It's written that Adam and Eve were ashamed after the sin. What were they ashamed of? From being naked, meaning from having no covering over their ego. Their egos grew. It broke out in them, and they had no covering for it. They could not correct it in order to use it correctly. We learn the same thing in the whole of the wisdom of Kabbalah, that the first act that the creature does at the entrance to the spiritual world, from our world, if you want to go from our world and begin to feel the spiritual dimension, the first thing you need to do is the tzimtzum, the restriction. The restriction, or the tzimtzum, means you're ashamed of your own state, and you stop it. And you begin to behave differently. So if I understand you correctly, the idea, actually, getting to the shame is a good thing. Yes, but the key to get closer to the situation where I feel shame, I need to understand nature's absolute laws. And then, yes, the question is, what are you ashamed about? If I look at our society, stealing, no problem. Not going to the army, no problem. I understand that. Yeah, but how do I get to it? How do I open up these rules? Through study. Only when a person studies, he begins to know. First of all, he reads. You mean studying Kabbalah? Well, yes, studying Kabbalah. And again, only from the books that we recommend. The Book of Zohar with the Sulam commentary, the writings of the Ari, and the writings of Bala Sulam. When we And we learn from the books about Islam because they're closest to our, most suitable to our souls. His explanations and then what happens? And then we evoke the surrounding light, and we begin to see through our matter, through the wrapping of this world. I begin to see how this world behaves, why it is the way it is, what's the connection between things. These laws open up to me? Yes. Yes, and it's not the same study as in school. At school, no one wants to learn. But here, when you study, it's as if you open up things. It attracts you because at the same time, you begin to feel fulfilled. You begin to feel fulfillment, relaxation, distances, like a child who's enjoying life. So this thing is not difficult. Anyone's invited and can do it, and will have to do it sooner or later, because everyone needs to discover the spiritual world. But by that, a person becomes unlimited. So just open the books or watch our lessons. By the way, you can watch our lessons on television every day between 3 and 6 a.m. or go into our site, into the archive, and download the lesson 1, 2, 3, as many as you want. And watch or listen to them during the day while doing something else at home, on your way to work, at break time at work, and connect to the wisdom of Kabbalah. The whole of the wisdom of Kabbalah exists on our site, and it's all free. Kabbalah.info or Kab TV.